Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle book review of Coeurs Noirs, which translates to Black Hearts. Now, this is the Film Noir newsprint advertising of the 40s and 50s by David Koenig. Now, this is independently published, 426 pages. The book came out in 2020. There's the spine there, and obviously there's the back cover. And now it's black and white all the way through. There's no colour, so if you come into this expecting there's any colour, no. There's all solid. But wow, it is the really most densely packed document, and it goes film by film by film by film. Now, the order's slightly odd in that some of the films, like Panic in the Streets, which I think is a brilliant film, one of my favourites. That's obviously not the Panic in the Streets. And some films have got the. So you've got a whole bunch of about 50 or 70 the breaking point. Now, sometimes, why not just call it breaking point? But I guess it's called the breaking point. But it does mean you have to go and look in the section just to see your favourite film, maybe. However, it's got a brief little introduction, very brief introduction, which is great because there's no need particularly for it. Gives obviously why he did it, how he started, all the various resources that he used, obviously just going through newspapers, just finding all these wonderful. There's a historical graphic design book. I think this is just, well, pity that there's not other books. I can think of thousands of different things. As soon as I saw this listed, I thought, yes, this is the sort of book that I just love. This is the sort of thing that I think maybe I should do as well. But I just think it's just great. I love it. Also, of course, as always with these things, some films are included, some are not. No, there might be some. There's British films, loads of great British film noirs that definitely, and also maybe not film noir, but sort of dark, gritty, sort of, really rough around the edges. Loads on Talking Pictures TV, which is my favourite channel. I love Talking Pictures TV, just for so many brilliant, lovely black and white films. Normally with John Le Mesurier or someone like that in, just not in his dad's army role, however, or other characters that are not in what you consider their normal. William Hartnell comes to mind, quite a few. Loads of brilliant actors that just are, it's a joy to watch. However, let's get on to the book, because that's what you come, obviously, for this. And this is, every page, just packed solid. The bait, or bait, I should say, not the bait. So this is the bait. You think she's the bait, but anyway, it's called bait. And then you've got Backfire, Ace in. I mean, some of these I've seen. Some of these turn up on quite a few channels over the years, or you just collections of DVDs, etc. Got all these sort of films. And Between Midnight and Dawn. I can't say I've ever seen that one, but anyway. Yeah, Edmund O'Brien. I'm certain it's very good. But the whole page is solidly with Zamba. Whatever that is. Terror of the Jungle, because it's also got other ones as well. So you've got obviously other films, Between Midnight and Dawn, and obviously places where they were as well, which is just great. Superman as well, just mentioned there something. Born to be Bad. So Born to be Bad. And it's also, of course, got the date as well. So you've got the date, and you've got obviously a little bit of the information. My only regret is kicking you out, etc., etc. Cause for Alarm, Loretta Young. I think these films should be on the time. I mean, they're quite often, film noir ones seem to have sort of, unfortunately, vanished off the screens generally, other than Talking Pictures and those sort of channels. You can find them around on British ones. Maybe in America, maybe they're regularly on the TV. I don't know. But I just think, count the hours. And of course, another problem, quite often, certainly is sometimes British titles were different from the American titles. So you might come across looking and thinking, where's that film? And you just can't find it, because it's in the wrong place, and you have to think, oh, no, that was called something slightly different in the US or elsewhere, of course. But anyway, Cry of the City. And again, just like loads of obviously very tiny pictures. But I mean, wow, what a collect. I mean, just brilliant, but all together, and it's just absolutely joy to go through this. You can just go, oh, wow, Double Indemnity, of course. Absolutely brilliant film. Don't bother to knock. Well, don't then. But anyway, you've got here Flamingo Road. What a great title. Flamingo Road. I just love that. I was never a Joan Crawford fan, though, I must admit. But what about that one? I've never heard that one. Flaxie Martin. Wow, what a great name, that one. Flaxie Martin. A Girl with a Heart of Ice. You know where you're going. That one. Girls in the Night. Again. Oh, Gilda, of course, classic. House of Numbers. Ivy. Oh, is that Joan Fontaine, I should say. Not John Fontaine, that would be a completely different person. However, she's murder bait. Lured. For a second I thought that was the title. She's murder bait. Sometimes, of course, they get confused with those sort of lurid sort of ones there. Loophole. Suspense. Barry Sullivan. Wow. New Orleans Uncensored, no less. But this is just brilliant. I mean, this book is just page after page after page of just Scarlet Street. Great one. That one is, of course, absolute. Joan Bennett, brilliant. And So Dark the Night, slightly scarlet. Not Scarlet Street, but this one, slightly scarlet. 1956, apparently. Sweet Smell of Success. Yeah, you know what? I don't know if I've actually watched all that. Watched bits of it. I know it's a classic, but it's just one of those ones that I don't think. Blue. There you go. I've got seen that. Dark Corner. Classic again. There's just so many classic films in this. And it's just page after page after page of just RKO, Pan, and what's this one? The Underworld story. Now, not all of the film noirs were always successful. Sometimes they had a weird sort of talking when where they would sort of talk all the way through. I think that was one of those ones where it sort of the story looked, maybe it wasn't, but I don't know. There's certain ones that were just done as a documentary style that work sometimes, and but sometimes not really as a dramatic story. So it was sort of hit and miss. But still, I think and I don't think this book is making any sort of, what's the name about whether they were brilliant films or not. And of course, everyone has their favourites. I love that one. Woman in the Window. Brilliant, Edward Robinson. Just absolutely Edward G. Robinson, to give his full title there. And The Wicked Woman. And what's this? Oh, a few addendum at the back. So you've got some additional bits obviously found. Backlash, Bodyguard, and Hoodlum, and so on and so on. Wow! This, if you're a fan of film noir or films in general, like sort of films in 1940s, 50s, this book is just amazing. I would love to see this format spread to other ones as well, because there's just so many, like westerns. You can imagine a book solid of westerns. So the book would probably be about massive. Of course, that you'd have to really define the western, wouldn't you? But I mean, obviously crime sort of blends with this one, of course. Crime and other ones. Horror. A horror one would be amazing, just to see all the horror ads from the 40s, 50s, etc. Also a 60s one, maybe a decade one, so you could 60s and 70s. That would be amazing. However, getting off that. Wow, this book is an absolute joy. This is just when you see sort of books like this, you think, yes, I just love these things. Because I've actually had scrapbooks over the years. Unfortunately, I haven't got them now. But I did have scrapbooks where they were just literally exactly like this. Basically, it was just pages upon pages of pictures of the films that people had gone and seen. Someone had put them all together in an absolute, obviously. And of course, stupidly, I got rid of them. I think, oh. However, this, in a way, makes up for it, because this is just a great collection. I love film noirs. I love watching them. And now I've got this wonderful book as a great reference, so I can always just look in. It's like a reference guide film as well as all the brilliant pictures. And some are small. Obviously, they are quite small. I'm not saying that they're, but I mean, that's the way. Sometimes, some are very tiny. Look at this one, Hitchhiker. You've got really tiny down the bottom there. You stuck that in, which is great. Sort of book you can imagine that maybe, hopefully, at some point there will be an update and there'll be even more piled into it, because of course I'm certain that more get accumulated of these sort of wonderful ones as they're found over the years. Also, let's say British ones would be brilliant as well. However, totally recommended. I say that quite often, totally recommend. But this case, I think this is just an absolute joy from start to finish, and I will be thoroughly going over this many, many times, and just wow, love all the design. That's one thing. I mean, that's what I do generally as well, and I just love looking at all the design, how they lay it out and everything else. It's just amazing. I'm not going to say it again, but Black Hearts is the best way of saying that. Film noir